What's going on YouTube? It's your boy RTY here, and in today's video I'm here to bring you guys some Vegapunk gameplay. Now Vegapunk has been doing pretty well over in the East, recently getting top 8 and top 4 in 2 different events in Japan, and then with the death of RP Law upcoming in OP09, Vegapunk honestly might be a solid bring. The deck is doing really well, it's really fun to play, maybe not so fun to play against, but I still think it's a ton of fun. And these videos, these upcoming gameplay videos, hopefully will show you guys how fun I really truly think the deck is. So without further ado, let's get into it. Real quick, before we get into today's video, make sure you guys check out Dueling Guard at duelingguard.com/RTY5. That way you guys get 5% on all your orders. Dueling Guard has a lot of sick products that you can use for all your TCG needs, like these play mats, as well as these bundles that come with nice deck boxes, and in some cases, even custom leaders as well. Again, use code RTY5 at checkout or go to duelingguard.com/RTY5. See you in the video. All right, so here's our deck list. This is the exact deck list from the gentleman over in Japan that we're just copying and running here. And it is pretty standard, I think, everything you would see for a Vegapunk deck. So you're running 4 of the Flampe, that is your 2K, alongside the Edison. So those are your two 2Ks of choice here. One being Vegapunk, one being Flampe, and Flampe does have some use in this deck. You will see it, I think, in one of the gameplays in today's video as well, where it does have a niche use, but it does have a use as well. And then, of course, your high-end is going to be 8-cost Katakuri and 9-cost Yamato. I mean, the ability to heal yourself twice a turn with this deck, by the way, is very strong, and basically what the deck runs off of. So you'll notice that we're not running any 10-cost Ace. While it does heal, it is kind of counterintuitive to what the deck wants to do. So it's just not really a need, unless you're for some reason like tagging for the mirror or something like that. But it's not a need here. We're running 1 Gadatsu. This is kind of weird at a 1-of, but I've had instances where I enjoy seeing it as a 1-of. So I honestly would keep it as a 1-of. Maybe cut this Linlin, the 7-cost Linlin, and go for 2 of them maybe. I don't know, it's possible, but I do like the Gadatsu. Like I said, Edison is just our 2K, the occasional body that you have to play for filtering your hand, draw 2, trash 2, as we've seen in Sabo, and cards similar. Always a super strong effect, as alongside as being a 5K body and a 2K, really good. Then we got Shaka, which is just a 6K blocker. This guy is just, like one of your main tools, keeps you alive. Very good body, is also a 6K body, so a very, very strong card as well. And then we got Nico Robin. Now you'll say this is a 3-cost 4K. What is this card doing in the deck, especially as a 4-of? The trigger in this deck in this card is so insane. If your leader has the Egghead type, which spoiler alert, Vegapunk is Egghead type, draw 2 cards. Not draw 2, trash 1, not draw 2, trash 2, just draw 2 cards. Very strong. So of course we got 4 of Rocket Luffy. I mean, the card's just busted. It's good in Black Yellow Luffy. It's also really good here. KO stuff, help you control the board, also draw a card, hand advantage. Very good, very important in this deck. And then Lilith, another body. She is your 3-cost searcher, 5K body, but she also searches top 5 for Egghead card. Very strong card. Just another relevant body to keep on board. And then we also, in OP08, get access to Nami. Now this card is also sick and helps with the Gadatsu and the Luffy. And this is honestly why we cut the Gadatsu, because I think there's a chance that they're running more Gadatsu in OP07. But now you kind of have Gadatsu that's searchable, in the instance that you do have to trash a card for it. But if you have 3 or less cards in hand, you get to draw a card. So honestly, and sometimes it's a 1-for-1, as far as the trashing goes. But this card is very strong because it hits a 5-cost no matter what. So unlike Gadatsu, which says hit their life total, this just always hits a 5-cost. So really good. After that, we got 7-cost Linlin. Like I said, this is a 1-of. I mean, it's fine. It's fine in the deck. I don't love it, but it has this instance. It's just a big 8K body. It can also heal you sometimes on curve if you're missing like Katakuri or something like that. Like, if you are missing healing, this is a good last ditch to hopefully get you there. And if they trash a life, that's kind of good for you. It still pertains to what the deck wants to do. After that, we have Raigo, 4-of. Being one of the only yellow decks that plays Raigo at a 4-of. But like I said, we want to control the board. We want to out-resource our opponents. Raigo makes sense. And rarely are you trashing your life. Like, there are opportunities where you want to play Raigo, you're usually at 2 or 1 life anyways, right? So if you're at 2 life, you can play flop A, grab that life, play Raigo, and then heal yourself back up, right? While also drawing that card back from life and an additional card. So very good here. And of course, Raigo just having no cost limit. So this is like how you deal with like 9 cost Zoro, 10 cost Doffy, all the big bodies that you can't hit. Raigo is your answer. And then after that, we have the man with the world's greatest brain. This is just a searcher, 1 cost searcher, but also has a trigger, draw a card. So sometimes you have no choice but to put this in life. And if you do, it doesn't hurt. You're still going to draw the card. And then we have, please save me. I request help, whatever requests are help, whatever the English translation is. This card is also insane. Not even for its counter ability, but for its trigger. So this card in life says play up to 1 cost 5 or lower egghead type character from your trash. That's your Rocket Luffy. That's your Shaka. That's spoiler alert. That's every egghead in this deck. So you get hit, you get to just continue building board for free essentially with this card. So that's the deck list. Without further ado, let's hop into some videos. All right, so this is the first game. We're going against Marco, and we're going to keep this hand purely because it has a 9 cost Yamato and it has an egghead body we can play on turn 1. So we're just going to go ahead and establish the Nami. Obviously, we're not going to be removing anything with it, but it is a 5k body that we get to establish for free. And then our next turn, we can do some searching and hopefully, find another body to either play or heal. Unfortunately, we draw into another search event, but that's fine. We're going to take the Nico here. Really no other option. Going to search again, find a Shaka. And like I said, this is probably one of the better cards in the deck. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and deploy it. We're at 2 life. We're healthy. No need to add it to life. Let's just go ahead and establish the body, establish board here, especially playing against Marco, which we know has ways to remove your board, especially by reducing and stuff like this. So the biggest thing about this matchup, I was actually kind of concerned, is how do we out-resource a deck that can draw cards, something that's running Sanji's Pilaf, for example, or stuff like that. Kind of, this is my first time playing the matchup that I can remember, so we're kind of playing it by feel. So we're going to take this hit, and then we get lucky it's a Lilith trigger, so a really good one. And then we are at 5 life, so I think the best play here, and you notice one thing about Vegapunk is we don't swing. We want to make sure our Yamatos are getting value. So we're not going to swing a lot until it's like almost time to win the game. So we're just going to go ahead and put this Nico on the top of our life. And then debate about playing the Edison. It's another body. But it is our only 2k. Luckily, we draw into some more 2ks or into another Edison. So it did essentially kind of replace itself. We're going to trash a Raigo and the Nami. I don't know if the Nami is right. I think so, because at this point, I'm low in hand size. I don't really want to trash cards for Nami's effect. So that's why I kept the Luffy over the Nami, but I think it's debatable. But yeah, we wanted to play the Edison and also heal. So we already have 4 characters on board before the Marco even has 1. Now, he does have a lot of cards in hand, but for the most part, we're feeling really good about the state of the game right now. Then he's going to his 5 Dawn. So we know that probably one of our bodies is getting KO'd by a Marco this turn. Yep, and it's going to be the Nami. So he's going to swing 6. We're going to take, and this is where this insane trigger comes in. And we just draw 2 cards. That's fine. He plays Sanji's Pilaf. We draw 2 cards off of Nico Robin. So, yeah, so like I said, he's just going to go ahead and play the Marco. Yep, we're just going to go ahead and establish the Rocket Luffy and then pass. And then hopefully if we get hit again, we're going to draw 2 more cards, which is, like I said, kind of how this deck wants to work. We are trying to out-resource our opponent. Now, unfortunately, we are playing against a blue deck, though, and we do have to be cautious of putting, even though this is Marco, putting is always a card. So you notice that even though we're drawing cards, we're kind of staying around the 5 range as much as possible. But yeah, so here we go. We are going into, I believe, his 8 Dawn turn. 6, 7, 8, yeah. So I think it's just going to be a 7 gate turn potentially. So he's going to swing 7 with the Marco. Yeah, and just play the 7 gate. Give 1 Don onto his leader. We took the hit, draw 2 more cards. He's going to swing 6 at life and then also KO our Rocket Luffy, which I thought was interesting. I thought for sure he would target the Shaka because the Luffy doesn't really serve a purpose here, considering there's not a 4 cost on board. You could always pop it for, you know, the sake of having a drawing a card, but I don't think it really serves that purpose here. So I thought the Shaka for sure was going to go. Yeah, we just decided to counter out. We do want to kind of stay at this 1 life threshold, and then make sure that we can also stay healthy enough to hit, for example, a hit a new gate if we wanted to. So we're actually going to swing 5 at life here just to see what his reaction is, and then we're not going to swing anymore. And the reason why we swung the Lilith in the first place is because we're planning on playing Katakuri here. So we're going to play Katakuri to bounce the Lilith back to our life. So it kind of worked out that he trashed a card. I mean, it would have been kind of unfortunate if he did decide to take the life, but we were also healing twice, which would have put us at like 6. So we couldn't hit the new gate, but we can hit the Marco potentially next turn. So with that in mind, I think we are going to try to stay alive, try to stay healthy with the idea of we want a Yamato and KO the new gate if at all possible. But he does have 2 swings, and he's definitely gonna turn the new gate sideways for the effect, and he does. Again, choosing to leave the Shaka up. Yeah, so right now I know I can take 1 of these hits. And if he turns the Marco sideways, this is where we start extracting value out of hand. So if he turns the Marco sideways, the idea here is we can swing Katakuri into the Marco and either KO the Marco, or we're getting 2 cards out of hand. And that's kind of how we're planning on dealing with this deck that tends to have a lot of cards in hand. However, it's Marco. It doesn't have a ton of removal, but it does have removal. And so he's just going to use lead ability and then play the Rayleigh to KO my Katakuri. Then he's going to swing 6 at life. That's just an easy 2k there. And then he's going to, I believe, swing 7 or leave a Don open potentially. Let's see what he decides to do. Okay, just going to swing 7. And like I said, we are okay to take that, get a Lilith, search. Unfortunately, bottom decking 2 Yamatos and 2 Katakuris. Bottom decking a Yamato and a Katakuri, excuse me. That's one thing you got to pay attention to in this deck is, you know, where are your Yamatos, where are your Katakuris, because we are kind of stalling long enough that you will eventually get back to them. That is very possible. So we are going to play the Shaka into our life and then play the Yamato. We're not at 1 life, so we weren't going to get value anyway. So we want to heal first to make sure that we are able to reach something like this new gate, right? So Yamato's good when you're at 1 life because she heals and she hits something. But sometimes when that's not an option, you can also do it this way to reach higher bodies. And I think having an 8 cost and a 7 cost on board, we definitely need to do that. And we need to hit the new gate because that's the easy removal for Marco. So if we take away his easy removal, the game becomes kind of easier for us. So at this point, we have another Yamato, a Katakuri in hand. My blockers get bottom decked. I think we just kind of have to go down to 1 life here, which is rather unfortunate. But with Vegapunk, when you're going down in life, you're also building your board back. So that Gravity Blade, while removing my characters, I'm just bringing them right back. And so instead of it being a 5 character board, it goes back to being a 3, which is fine. Yeah, and like I said, we're gonna go back to no life, and we do get lucky there that our last life is actually a Lilith trigger, and we have a Yamato in hand, so we feel fine. We can heal 1 by putting a Shaka there, and then we can go ahead and play the Yamato and clearing the Marco. He chooses to let it go. If he doesn't, we could have swung the Yamato into it. We don't feel like starting to swing into life just yet. Let's try to extract these cards out of hand by swinging into board. We do have a blocker on board as well. So right now we're the control deck. You know, we've been clearing bodies. We cleared the Newgate. We've cleared the Marco. And he has to rebuild. While simultaneously, within one turn, we have our whole board back. So that's the fun of the deck. And it's so funny playing Vegapunk too, especially when you're playing timed lobbies, because you get to see the time difference between my thought process and theirs. A lot of people are really uncomfortable against this deck. As you can see, I'm just chilling at 13 minutes, 46 seconds, and his timer is definitely just dwindling down. Almost twice as fast. There is still that little bug for sure, but this is tough. If you're not comfortable playing against it, it is kind of some tough decisions. So he reduces my active Yamato, which I thought for sure he was going to just swing into, or reduce the rested one and swing into it. But I think we're going to get another 7 gate here. Yeah. So we're fine with that. I mean, it's unfortunate to lose the body, but that's 2 cards out of hand, essentially. So we're okay with this. And he's just going to swing 9. And that's just the easy 1k counter. If it was 10, I would have been probably inclined to block. But 9 and a 9 is an easy 1k. And then, yep, there's no trigger for this Egghead Luffy, so we will just keep it to hand. Right. So I think we know we're playing Katakuri this turn. It's just all about doing some digging, seeing what we can get. We're going to grab the Nico. Maybe we can draw some cards here. And I think the best route here is, if we're playing Katakuri, yeah, we're definitely going to swing into this new gate here. Like I said, it's a problem for us. We want to take away their easy removal. And if he counters for it, then so be it. We take it. We're going to put Lilith there. And then we're going to play Katakuri, putting another Lilith at the top of our life. So that's kind of, like I said, guys, we are trying to out-resource our opponent. And this is how you do it, by constantly playing our Liliths, playing our Searchers, playing Nico Robins, drawing cards. We're never running out of options. And if a game is going well for the Vegapunk player, they should almost like truly be close to decking out, because they're just out-resourcing you that much. And it's a slow, painful death. It's kind of like reminiscent of like OP04 Rebecca, where like you're gonna die. And it's going to be slow and painful, and you're going to hate it the entire time. It's kind of what this is. But if you're the Vegapunk player, like we are, we're having a great time. So he's going to go ahead and reduce the Shaka. And I think this is where I thought he would have been doing this the entire time. I'm okay with him reducing the Shaka and KOing the Shaka at this point, because it's not my Yamato, which means it's going to be hard for him to swing into the Yamato, which we're okay with. So yeah, he's going to reduce, turn the Newgate sideways, and clear the Shaka. And possibly swing big into the Yamato here. Okay, just gonna swing 9 into it. Well, that's an easy counter for sure. And then, what does he have open? 6 Dawn. I mean, it could be like Rush Ace. Oh, it doesn't even look like it. Oh, are we going all Dawn? All Dawn. Well, there's nothing we can do about that. And yeah. All right. So we got to draw. We'll grab another Shaka. And then honestly, we could play it and then heal one for Nico potentially. And then swing big into the rest, into one of these bodies. Potentially clear one of them. Yeah, and I think that's what we're going to do here. So we're going to add the Nico to top life. We are getting low on hand size. Then we are going to swing 11 into, I believe, the Rayleigh. Yeah, should have been the Newgate, but the Rayleigh's fine. He has a 1 down open, so I know he's just going to Rad Beam. But Swinging 11 is the perfect number because it's a rad beam plus another card. We're getting 2 cards out of hand. And actually, it was a bad kick. I guess if it was rad beam, he would have been fine, right? So he was bluffing the rad beam and didn't have it. If it was the rad beam, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah, he would have got out of it for 1 card, 1 Don, but it's getting that rad beam out of hand. That would have been important. So right now we just have 2 1-cost events in hand. I mean, kind of lackluster, but we're also probably getting hit at least to 1 Lilith this turn. So we take that. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and swing or reduce the Shaka, turn the new gate sideways. But you see, we've out-resourced him. We've slowly dwindled his hand size down. He's played Sanji's Pilaf. He's cycled every turn. And he's at 4 cards in hand now. So this is the game plan. And like I said, it's a slow, painful death. Turn 9 for Marco. Let's see. He's just going to swing 7. I think he's debating going at life. But if he swings 8 into the Katakuri, that kind of just tells him I don't have counter. Yeah, and he does. That's unfortunate. But we're going to draw some cards here unless he doesn't turn this Rayleigh sideways. Which would suck for us, but is also a win. Because we can just heal and play Rayquaza. But he is going to swing. We're going to draw 2 cards. We get a Katakuri, which is really good. You love to see that. He's going to play a Marco and pass with 3 Dawn Octar. And then we top deck a Yamato. How insane. So this is why we starve. So he's at 7 life. So we have a free clear on this new gate. And we get to heal 1. So. And that's what we are going to do. And we are going to hopefully clear the new gate. Yeah. And then pass turn. And we're back to rebuilding our board. We have a big Yamato on the board. That's going to help us clear bodies next turn. And then we also have a Katakuri in hand. The game is just basically over at this point, to be honest with you. 19 cards in deck, too. I think we've only seen 2. So 3 Yamato. 3 Yamato and 3 Katakuri. So I still have a Yamato and a Katakuri to reach to with 19 cards in deck. 2 Liliths in my life. Like I'm going to get back to these cards, essentially. So lead effect, he's going to reduce the Lilith. That's fine. Two new gates. I doubt he has the 3rd. Oh, it's just a red rock on our Yamato. I mean, like I said, we're going to get back to this Yamato. So like as annoying as that is, we're vibing. So we know we're playing Katakuri, so we're just going to go ahead and swing 5. At this point, it doesn't matter. We're going to heal to make up for his life differential. He counters. Even better. We'd love to see a counter there. Yep. Heal. And then we're going to put the 1-cost event so that we can start playing bodies. Like, we're going to get hit this turn, so now we can start playing bodies again. Mind you, I'm at 6 life right now. Vegapunk starts the game at 2. So if you out-resource your opponent pretty well, sometimes your games look like this. And like I said, this is a case of people being unfamiliar with the deck, but also just playing the deck properly. And this can happen. Now, I think if Marco played it a little bit more aggressively, if he was playing like the Rush Ace package and stuff like this could have been a bit more scary for us. But luckily enough, that didn't happen. He tried to play a little bit more of a control variant, and it just kind of snowballed. It's hard to out control a deck that's playing Raigo, Yamato, and Katakuri. So he's going to reduce our Katakuri. We potentially lose him here, but we are at minimum playing 2 bodies, I think. So yeah, we're just gonna take this trigger, use trigger. I think it's between a Shaka and a Luffy. We're just gonna go ahead and play the Luffy because there's this Marco on board, And if we have a free chance to clear the Marco next turn, we will absolutely take it. And then we're going to take the second hit, go ahead and grab a Shaka. And he's going to play the Rush Ace, and like, we're so healthy. Who cares, right? Like, we're going to take this and develop another body. It's either a Shaka or a Luffy. It's never Nami. Yeah, we're going to go 2 Luffys. And then pass. So Raigo is actually pretty sick here, but no need for us to continue to try and KO things outright. He has 2 cards in hand. We can pretty much guarantee clear this board. So that's what we're going to try to do here. I think we just start by swinging 7 at 7. Yeah. And get these last, either get these last 2 cards out of hand or get this Marco blocker just completely gone out of the way. Ideally, we want to get these last 2 cards out of hand so we have a free clear on the Rayleigh though. And then from here, the game is just over. Like, there's just no way. I mean, the game's been over for the last like 6, 7, 8 minutes, but, and we just get the Marco blocker out too, which just tells me that his hand is low on counter. So we're looking at how much my Don is. I have 6 Don to spend with play Shaka and then potentially heal as well. So that's going to allow us to swing 7. And honestly, that's even being greedy. I don't think we have to. I think we can split all this Don, clear this board as much as possible, and then just hard play the Shaka, or play the Shaka, deploy the Shaka with our leader ability onto the field instead of into our life. So we get 1k counter out of hand. We're saying swing 8. Probably should have swung 9. This is fine. We want to make sure we clear this as well. Yeah, definitely should have swung 9 instead of 8, just to guarantee. Because 11 was going through regardless. Yep, and then use our lead ability to just play the Shaka on the field instead of our life. And like, the game is just over. I don't think the 2 cards in hand, there's nothing he can do here. I'm going to be healing every turn while hitting him down. So I'm going to play the 3rd new gate, probably take the Shaka out, and then swing into, let's see, what would we be swinging? 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. So he probably swings into a Luffy, I think. Because if he swings into a Katakuri, that's just a 2k counter. Which he kind of has to figure I have at this point. So I think he's going to swing into a Luffy. That should be the right thing. Yeah. And then at 1 card in hand, we can just clear this new gate for free, which is pretty funny. And he will. Yep. And then we'll just swing 8 into it. Guaranteed clear. All right. And then fine. You can have this 5 at life. And then we're going to draw some new cards if you decide to swing at us. And there you guys have it. I mean, that's basically how you play Vegapunk. Like, it's not complicated, but it is a long game plan. That makes sense. So as you can see here, I'm at 9 minutes left on my timer. He's at 2 minutes. Kind of doesn't know what to do. I think he's just gonna concede. Even like timer doesn't save him here. I'm just gonna play a Sanji. What's funny is I could just Raigo the Sanji if I wanted to, but yeah, just gonna go ahead and concede. So yeah, that was game 1. Out-resourced Marco. Let's see what's up next. All right, here we go. Game 2. We're going against a Blue Doffy. Now this one, similarly to Marco, can be a hard matchup for us. I think it depends really on, to be honest, if they're playing the Gravity Blades or not. Because I know a lot of Blue Doffys in 8.5 are not playing the Gravity Blades. But Blue, especially if they're playing like Tenka's Kaido and stuff like that, can be hard to out-resource as well. So we also didn't get to choose order. I think Vegapunk is a deck that generally wants to go first. I think turn 1 you want to play this Luffy if possible. So we cannot. So we are going to go ahead and just play the Luffy on by deploying it, not to our life, and then passing turn. This is a really strong play, to be honest, because if he goes swing 7s, right, we're gonna take it. But if it's like Jinbei Weevil, I have a 6k swing into the rested body, and then I have a free pop on 1. So this is a good answer to it. And then luckily for us, it's just also a Hancock. So we kind of get a 2 for 1 here. We're of course not going to swing on life, so we're going to swing 6 at the Hancock. If he's smart, he'll let it go. And if we get a card out of hand, that's even better. And then we're just going to pop Luffy effect and KO it. So we do take the 8 at life, and it is fortunately for us a Yamato, the first Yamato. So like I said, we're going to swing 6 into the Hancock and just say, give me a card. And if he doesn't give me a card, that is the correct play on his end. But unfortunately, this is like against every other deck. This play here is so sick. Because look at the hand advantage we're going to get. We're going to get board control, right? And then we're going to get hand advantage like crazy. So honestly, we're at 1 life, so I'm going to play the Nami into my life. Probably should have put Edison there, to be honest, but because Nami's not a trigger, but it could be relevant if he plays around it correctly, but I don't think that will be the case here. Just gonna swing 6 at life. We're gonna 2k here actually, because I want this Nami to be a relevant trigger. So Jinbei, then ideally Weevil, but it doesn't look like he has. It goes into Mihawk. So that was a sick top deck because we can clear both of these bodies, I think. So check this out. We're gonna go ahead and play Gadatsu. Since he's at 5 life, we get to target one of these, and it's a good thing we countered the last turn because we're healthy enough to feel comfortable to play this Luffy and then trash it, KO that, and then draw a card as well. Sick play. And look how we have 6 cards in hand to his now 4. We have the board. We have the Gadatsu. He has just a Perona. He's played bodies. He's played 3 of them, and they're all gone. So 7 at life. Lead effect. Is it going to hit? It is a Perona. So I think... Yeah, I think we take it, but we don't pop the trigger. Just because we can... Well, now we can't. Honestly, it was probably better to counter, to play around the pudding. But, I mean, getting pudding there doesn't help. Doesn't hurt, and we still drew into the Yamato anyways. So before we commit to this Nami, see what we can get with our searching event. We have 7 Dawn, so I think it's just play Nami, trash an event, and then play it Shaka into life, and just continue saying you don't get to have cards. So Required Star doesn't matter because I just don't have the trash for it just yet, and we don't want to trash the searcher event, so we could do another search basically, and then add a top life, and we're going to go ahead and put the Lilith in the top life. That way we can start getting our resources back since we got puddinged. But yeah, gonna play another Perona. I think this is what, his second or his third? I think this is just a second. And right now, unlike the last game, we're kind of comfortable just sitting at this 2 life threshold because we're controlling the board so well. And we know that Doffy's a deck that, besides I guess like 6 cost, or is it 6? Besides the big boa, they're only playing generally 4 costs, right? So he's gonna go Gecko into Jinbei into Law. That's scary. Wow, he's going to bounce both Peronas back to hand. That's insane. That's actually insane value. So he's gonna go a little bit wider. Luckily, we're at 10 Dawn, so we can play Yamato, KO1, and honestly, we can deploy the Egghead Luffy, but I don't think we need to just yet. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. We want him swinging into life so we can extract the rest of these cards out of his hand. So if he swings into us, which he's going to, we can counter swing and get the rest of these cards out of hand. And then if things go bad, you know, since I have a 6K and a 9K body on board, we'll play the Egghead Luffy next turn. Also, don't mind going down to 1 life here just to make Raigo a relevant target here. We'll see kind of what happens here. All right, so he's stacking, swinging 8, and playing a Weevil. Man, I have a full board, man. It's so sick. It's so sick. Yep, grab the Shaka, keep ourselves alive. The Nami could be sick here, but we don't want to trash cards at the moment. Even though we are at that low hand threshold where we would draw another card. Like I said, we have the bodies on board to just swing at life and keep our hand size a little bit healthy. So I think just debating on turning these sideways, and he is. So 7 at life. Take 7 at life. Yeah, we'll counter. I don't think we want to go to 0. And what a good top deck too. So swing 6. I think we have a guaranteed clear. No blockers, only 3 cards in hand. I have more than enough. I have 5 bodies to swing at him, so we're definitely clearing board this turn, and the game is won. This is how it goes with Vegapunk. The resource battle is won. The game is won. So that last card's not even a counter. That feels bad. Swing 9, and then we will play Gadatsu or play Katakuri just to start developing bigger bodies. I think it goes over the Gadatsu. And then we move a Lilith to the top of our life. And then we will also heal, I think. Yep. And like I said, guys, just as simple as that, game is won. Dude, that's like his 5th Perona because he bounced 2 back. He played 2, bounced 2, played 2. So yeah, that's quite literally his 5th Perona. That is insane. Nine, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's going at the Yamato. That's fine. That is fine. It's just this weird Moria. If you have 5 or more cards in your hand, this character gains that card is bad. That card is bad, and it comes in sideways. So, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and deploy the Egghead. And then since we're low on hand size, let's search. Bottom decking 2 Katakuris feels bad. Hard play. Yep. And swing 5. He lets it go. All right. All right. Since the game's won, we'll start swinging at life. Right now I'm debating swinging the Katakuri. Like, do I give you 2 cards? It's fine. And so we don't pop the Egghead Luffy because we have a big board like this. We can swing wide next turn, and then if he plays like a the blocker boa, for example, I have a free answer to the blocker boa. So he's just gonna swing super big into the Katakuri. I'm just sitting over the Shaka like, come on, brother. You knew what this was. Man, his hand must be bricked. I don't even know what he's doing with these 2 Dawn. I think he probably should have just stacked the extra 2 Dawn. Oh no, he's playing Crocodile to bounce another Perona and to stack his deck. 6 Peronas in a game, by the way. Not that it mattered, but oh, actually, it's blocker law. Interesting. We're comfortable. We could just continue to torture him a little bit. 5 at life. We have full board clear again. So if he gives us cards in hand, you know, we can swing all 4 of these bodies at this rested Jinbei, and then I could pop Luffy to KO the Crocodile. So either counter here or give me the Jinbei. Or block. And it doesn't look like this card's a 2K. Yep. And then since I'm at 3 life, I can't Luffy effect, so I'll actually flop pay to go down to 2 to be able to use Luffy effect. I drew some cards off of that, and I found another Yamato. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I am proud of that sequencing. Yep, and we'll go ahead and swing 8 at life. Game's over at this point. Do some searching, grab a Shaka. And I think we could play 1 and heal 1. Yep. And then pass turn. Yep, and then he concedes. So game was over for sure. 100%. I say GG in chat. Do we get 1 back? No, the instant disconnect. Of course, that's just how it goes with Vegapunk. So there you guys have it. That's Vegapunk for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. And until the next one, I'll catch you then. Peace.